Hi you guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Shani and I'm a homeschooling mom to 3 kids, ages 13, 6, and 2. And today I am bringing you a video about 10 things that I wish that I had known when I started homeschooling. So this is our 5th year, I can't believe it, our 5th year of homeschooling. And I have learned a lot over these 5 years. Now I am a pre-COVID homeschooler. So I think that makes my experience a little bit different from someone who started homeschooling probably during COVID or as a result of COVID and maybe never went back or whatever. I have found that the reasons are usually different and the method is usually different. So I just want to put that out there because I know so many new people kind of flooded this space, once COVID happened. And, so yeah, I'm a pre-COVID homeschooler. I've been doing this for 5 years and I have been through all the ups and all the downs and I'm still going. And yeah, so I have a list here that I wrote down in my planner. And I'm just going to go through the list with you guys and let's talk about it. So number 1 on my list, I wrote, if your kids aren't excited about a topic, that doesn't mean that you failed. So when I started homeschooling, I had this idea in my head that everything was going to be like beautiful and awesome. And, I was going to make every subject exciting and all of these things that, my kids hated doing or learning. Well, I shouldn't say kids. It was just my oldest at the time. My middle child was a toddler. So, but I had this idea that I was going to make everything like beautiful and fun. And if it wasn't fun and engaging, we were going to throw it away. And it turns out the reality is not that magical, and that's okay. Some kids just don't like math, and that's okay. So, you want to try to find, the curriculum or the approach or the method or the learning language that works for your kid. Absolutely, do that 100%. But the expectation that everything is going to be super exciting, or even that things that you are super excited about are going to be super exciting for your children, is just super unrealistic, and that is okay. There is this really unhealthy narrative, especially on places like Instagram, but here on YouTube too, that if you haven't made this super exciting lesson, or your kids aren't super thrilled about it, that you have somehow failed to make this subject inviting or engaging for your student or your child. And that's just not true. Some kids just aren't into rocks or volcanoes or grammar. It just is a thing, and that's okay. Not everybody's going to be into everything. Yes, you still have to learn how to, properly punctuate a sentence. It's not going to be that exciting, but we're going to get through it, and that's okay. You have not failed. The world will keep spinning. It's going to be okay. And that might sound silly, but it's something I really needed to hear. And I wish someone had told me that it's okay, that everything's not going to be magical and glorious, and that's absolutely fine. So number 2, it's okay to put down curriculum and pick it back up again later. So I really thought that you start your curriculum and then you go through the curriculum and you finish the curriculum, and that is like how you do it. And some people do that. I follow a woman who has done that for like the last 10 years. Every year she starts the book, she does every lesson in the book, and at the end of the year she's done all the lessons and she's checked off all the boxes, and good for her. But it doesn't have to be that way. There's a rule that says it has to be that way. Public school often doesn't work that way. That's okay. I just this past year I bought, if you guys saw this is forever ago, but I put up a curriculum video where I was like, I got level 1, the Good and the Beautiful Language Arts for at the time he was 4. And I was like, oh, I got level 1. We're going to go through level 1 and we're going to do Lightning Literature grade 1, and it's going to be great. And guess what? It turned out pretty quickly. I figured out that my son was just not transitioning from level K to level 1 very well. It's something about the jump. He was just getting really frustrated with it. So you know what I did? I took that book and I put it back on the shelf. And we didn't pick it back up again until over the summer. And now we're working back through it again. We're about halfway through it. That is absolutely fine. There's no rule that said that if I didn't do that book that year, that I have devastatingly failed my son. Did we continue to do language arts? Yes, we did. Did we have to do it out of that specific book? No, we didn't. No one died. Everyone learned. My son actually became a very proficient reader that year. It's going to be okay. You can put that book down and pick it back up again later when your child is ready. Your child will still get that lesson. You'll still make it through. You know, you have not failed as a homeschool mom if you have to put that book up. No one's behind. Everything's going to be okay. Number 3, you don't need to do co-op. It's super stressful and can disrupt your flow. So, it's another rookie mistake that I made. I found a co-op. I visited one thing with the co-op. I was like, yay, I'm going to join the co-op. And then I was going to teach a class in the co-op. And then I taught classes for the co-op. And, yeah, it can be so stressful. Depending on the kind of co-op that you're doing, some of them want you to buy, like, curriculum to go along with them. In my case, I had purchased curriculum specifically for the class that I was teaching. It was a little bit further away from my house because I lived out in the country at the time. I didn't live in the city. So I had to drive a long way, which meant I had to get up early. I had to rush all the kids in the car. I had to have everything ready for my classes. I had to have our lunches packed because we ate lunch with the co-op, and it was so stressful. That I remember at one point being like, if I am like running around like a chicken with my head cut off, rushing the children to the car, you know, to make sure that we're on time for class, shouldn't I just put them back in school? Like, why am I doing this to myself? And so, yeah, I dropped out and I have never, ever signed up for like a full co-op like that again. Now, I have joined, like right now I'm in a field trip co-op where it's just field trips and you just sign up for the field trips that you want to go on that fit your classes, and you help pay, you know, for you get group discounts and everything. Love it, because I can do it on my terms, and if I don't want to go, I don't have to go. If I decide not to go that day, I'm just out the money. Like, you know, it's not that like classes won't happen. Nobody's depending on me. I do a nature walk, where we go through a walk on a nature hike once a week. That's me. But if no one shows up, I'm not out of any money or time. We're going to go on that nature hike anyway, because we like walking through nature. And if people want to join us and walk with us, cool. If no one comes, cool. If I don't want to go that day, also cool. It's fine, you know. Here's your permission. Your kids will meet other kids in other ways. They will have neighbors to play with. If you attend churches, they'll see kids at church. If they do extracurricular activities, they're going to see the kids then. They're going to see their family members at birthday parties and, you know, at the library, you know, programs there. There's so many things you can do. You don't have to do the co-op. You don't have to spend the hundreds of dollars and stress yourself out. The point of homeschooling a little bit is to be able to relax. And so, some people really thrive in a co-op environment, and that is totally a-okay and cool for you. It just super stressed me out, and if you're anything like me, it's okay. Here's your permission. You don't have to do a co-op. Everyone will be fine. Number 4, they won't miss out on all the things. Valentine's Day parties, PE, field days, recess, park play dates, etc. So, yeah, I really, really get in my own head. And not just when I started, but even not still, but like even as recently as last year, it kind of got in my head about, I remember having like Christmas parties and talent shows and, science fairs, all of those kinds of things that happen in a school environment that I felt like my kids were going to miss out on. And, I really got in my head about it, and I wish I could be like, Cheney, it's going to be fine. They're actually going to do more than what they would be doing in public school, because in public school you would have one party. Homeschoolers, or at least in my area, there are like 4 or 5 different Valentine's Day parties that I could attend if I wanted to, with all the different groups. There's so many groups now. Especially post-COVID, there's so many homeschoolers and so many groups that weren't there when I first started, that now it's like last year we went to, I think, 3 or 4 different Valentine's Day things. We went to 4 different Halloween celebrations between like the library and the homeschooling groups and all of that. Your kids aren't going to miss out on all those special things. My kids have done PE, they've done field day, they've done, like I said, Halloween parties and trick-or-treating and Valentine's Day parties, cookie decorating. They've gone to see Santa. Everyone's okay. They're not going to miss out on those kinds of things. Number 5. And this one was a hard pill for me personally to swallow. I don't know if everyone is going to feel this way, but here we go. Not everyone will be excited or desire to be included in your children's education. Yeah, sorry. I thought of all of these great ideas because I saw these people on social media who, like, grandpa came over on Tuesdays and taught science, and they would go cook with cooking class with grandma or sewing class with grandma. And I did, or they're doing campfire curriculum with dad. And I saw all these things and I was like, oh man, that'd be so great. And you have this whole family involved in the education. And no one, not a single one in my personal experience was like interested in any of that at all. And it sucked because for me, I was like, oh, I thought you'd be as excited as I am. And they probably won't be. Or I shouldn't say probably. In my experience, it didn't happen. And so if you're looking at all of these people and you're like, wow, they have all this family to, have a, mom comes and homeschools while I go to work or whatever, just know that that's them and their system, their village. And if you are a person like me who has a village instead of a village, it's okay. And it's a hard pill to swallow, and it can feel, discouraging a little bit, but it's going to be okay. And no one said that to me when I was first starting to homeschool. And so if you are considering homeschooling, or you're just starting out homeschooling and you have those like big ideas in your head of like, involving your full extended family in your kids' education, just be aware that not everyone is going to be into that thing, and and just go ahead and be okay with that being a thing before you try to, before you get that answer. And then if they do say, yeah, I'm excited to teach your kid science on Wednesdays or whatever, then yay, cool, that's great. But if it doesn't happen, then you've at least heard it once that maybe it'll just be you teaching all those subjects, and that's got to be okay with you. Number 6, you don't have to do curriculum cover to cover. You can pull lessons, worksheets, only do the reading, etc. Skipping lessons does not equal behind. So this piggybacks on one of the earlier ones that I said where, I just thought that you had to, if you bought the book, you had to do the book cover to cover in order the way it said to do it. And you don't. There you go. If you buy a book just for the worksheets out of the book and not the lessons in the book, that's fine. That's how you do school. I, at this point, like, have so many resources for different topics that I put together kind of as my own curriculum a little bit. Like, I use Beast Academy Online, and then I will find like worksheets in The Good and the Beautiful that like correlate with what he's doing in Beast Academy, or I'll do it the other way, where I'll find a chapter in Beast Academy that correlates with whatever he's doing in The Good and the Beautiful. Like, I mix and match it up. I don't read everything in The Good and the Beautiful. I'm not particularly religious, so some of the, in one of my, I just filmed a do a lesson with us recently where I just like skipped over The Good and the Beautiful because I read over the lesson and I was like, oh, I didn't proofread this very well. I don't like the way this lesson is. We're just going to skip it because I don't like it. I didn't like the way that it was worded. I knew it was going to frustrate my son, you know what I mean? So, yeah, you can just do the worksheets out of it. You can do every lesson cover to cover. You can do half of it. You can do a quarter of it. That's fine. If you get to a lesson and that lesson's frustrating to your child, or if you're using like a spiral curriculum where there's one particular topic that it brings up that your kid has drudged their way through, or you don't feel like they need to go over that particular lesson again, it's okay to skip it. that doesn't equal behind. So there you go. There's your permission to just do whatever you want. It's a fun thing to do. All right. Number 7. Don't judge your weaknesses against someone else's strength. I really, really, really wish I could tell younger me that, because I was looking at all of these women that seemed to have all of their life together. And I was really, really, really judging their strengths against my own weaknesses. And I remember at one point just feeling so, like, I had watched a YouTube video of a woman who was just like, I'm disciplined, and I'm, you know, and I just make sure that I check every box off my list because I'm disciplined and I do what I need to get done. And I really felt awful about myself. I was like, wow, I'm such a piece of crap because I don't have anything checked off on my list of to-do lists. And I feel like I've done a lot and I never get through what I need to get through. And I just felt like really overwhelmed. And I remember my husband looking at me, and it's funny to think about now, but he just looked at me and he said, Cheney, that woman doesn't work. There's 40 hours in her week that you don't have because you have a job. And it's funny, but it's true. I homeschool and I work full time. And I'm trying to keep up with my house, and I have a YouTube channel, and, I have so many things going on that I had to kind of accept that, like, I'm never going to get everything done, and that's okay. So what am I really good at? It's going to be something completely different than what she's really good at. She can brag all day long about how good she is at being disciplined and, like, keeping her house in order. That's great. Like, I'm not downing her for that. That's awesome that she has that strong suit. I don't have the strong suit of keeping my house in order. I just don't. I don't have time after homeschooling 3 kids and making sure that food is on the table and working a full-time job and, all the things to then, like, make sure every single thing got picked up and scrubbed and spotless. I just don't have time for it. Is my house, trashed? No, but are there, clothes on the floor sometimes, or is all of the laundry done? Probably not. I probably don't get to the load of laundry every day like I really hope that I can. Or maybe the laundry gets washed, but it doesn't get folded and put away, and that's just okay. I think that my strong suits are doing lots of things at once. And so, yeah, so don't look at if you are someone who is, like, very unschooly and free, and your strong suit is that you just, go hike a mountain and you're perfect at it, good on you. But if you are someone who's, like, really diligent and really structured, don't look at the women who, like, it's so easy for them to just be free and go, hike up a mountain and feel bad about yourself. Your strong suit is that, you're on point and you're organized and you're a type A. Yeah, so there you go. There's my rant for the day. Please, 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 if you are new to this world, listen to me. No one is putting a video up of their kids acting crazy. Like, no one's putting a video up of their house being dirty. No one's putting a video up or, an Instagram post about, like, today we didn't make it through math, and I was just like, screw it, I guess I'm never doing math again, and then I calm down, and then, you know what I mean? Like, no one's gonna put what they're not good at on social media. Why would they? Who's gonna watch someone just saying, I'm not good at this? No, you're looking for people who are talking about the things that they're good at. So always remember that. Always remember that you're getting, like, a super, super zoomed in view of someone's life, and it's a calculated zoom. Number 8, you don't need a schoolroom. So, that's it. You don't need a schoolroom. School can happen anywhere when you're a homeschooler. When I was first educating my oldest, like I said, I used ABC Mouse. When I first started educating my middle child, I ordered The Good and the Beautiful preschool. No, not preschool. Primer K. Yeah, they don't even make it. They don't even make any of the new first stuff that I use from them anymore. But I ordered the Primer K. We went through that book, and that was it. It was just the one book that I had, and I'd pull it out and we'd do it, and then I'd put it up. We usually did it wherever my 3-year-old was at the time. And then my first like actual course load with him was the level K, the old level K math and the old level K language arts. And I literally kept the level K math box, the level K book, 1 and 2, and the language arts all in the Good and the Beautiful box that they came in, and my son called it the math box. And I'd be like, do you want to do math box? We did it maybe 3 times a week. I was pregnant with my daughter towards the end of it, so I literally was on bed rest, and I would lay in my bed. He'd come in the bed with me. He'd bring his math box, and he would lay in the bed with me, and we would do math and language arts. I filmed a day in the life recently where something that we started doing was we started going to the park and doing our school day at the park. You can do school at the park. You can do school at the couch. You can do school while you're on bed rest. You can do school at the dinner table. You don't need a whole room, a whole room dedicated to schooling. If you need that, cool, but you don't have to have it. And if you're looking at people who have whole wings of their house dedicated to homeschooling, it's nice, but it's not necessary. And even at one point when I did set up a homeroom, we never used it because it's why go into this specific room to read when we could read on the couch where we're comfortable, or sit at the table where we have a table and it's, we can work together better. So yeah, you don't need a homeschool room. It's not necessary. Number 9, grades aren't real. So this is such a difficult thing to explain to people because you're so used to the public school like way of categorizing children that people assume that grade level equals academic level, and it doesn't. Grade level is how public schools categorize children by age. And so, you can't be in kindergarten if you're not a certain age. And if you're too old or too young, you're not a kindergartner anymore. And it is really irrelevant what your academic capability is. And so when people ask, like, what grade are you in? The answer is how old you are, And so it's really funny, like, even when people ask, what grade are you in? And my son's like, I'm homeschooled. They're like, yeah, but what grade are you in? And it's like, he's 6, he would be in, I think he would have been in kindergarten this year, sure. But the level that we're doing, he's going through the old level 1 of the Good and the Beautiful, which is 2nd grade curriculum. So, it would be what 2nd graders would be doing. So it's like, grades aren't real. They're not real. And so if you are using a particular level and you're looking at like the age of your kid and you're like, oh, he would be in this grade, but he's only doing this level of whatever, remember that grades aren't real. They're just age categories, and your kid would be in that grade even if he couldn't do that that academic structure, because they don't hold kids back based off of everything. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be held back for too long. You're either going to get an IEP or you're going to get moved up. And either way, you're going to stay with your age group as you go. So don't fall into this like, oh, my kid would be in this grade, so he has to check off all these boxes, or he should be checking off all these boxes because he would be in this grade, or she. That grades aren't real. So grades are age categories. Is your child in that age category? Cool. Just tell people that whenever they ask, and then understand for yourself that grades aren't real. If your 8-year-old needs to do a level K curriculum, that's fine. Because in the public school, if that was what he needed to be doing, they would give him an IEP and let him do it. So it's not as if that doesn't happen in the public school, is what I'm saying. Your kid isn't a failure. You're not a failure. No one's failing. Everything's okay, because grades are just age categories. Okay. And the last one, number 10. Don't plan longer than the school year ahead, with the exception of high school. Homeschool happens in seasons. Focus on the one you're in. So I was the worst at this whenever I first started homeschooling. Like, I would just, like, kind of, I don't know if this is like a hyperfixation thing, but I would like get lost in like, okay, so if he's doing this level right now, then when he's two, he'll do this level and this level. And I would like plan out like what curriculum I was going to be using all the way down. You have no idea what bumps in the road you're going to hit, what life is going to happen, what, what's working for your kid right now might not work later. Kids change. They go through a change at around 6 years. They go through another change at around 9 years, and then another one at around 13 years. And then another one again at 16. Kids are constantly turning into new people and adapting to new abilities that they have. So you don't plan on what curriculum you're going to use or what trips you're going to take. Don't put stuff off because, oh, I want to wait to do that in the summer when it's topical or something like don't make those kinds of plans. Don't buy a curriculum ahead unless you know like 100% that you're going to use it, because you don't know what you're going to do. And none of the plans that I had 5 years ago am I doing now, with the exception of I am still using a lot of good and beautiful stuff, but that's it. And I am not using anywhere near as much as I planned on using. I have lots of curriculum on my shelf that I bought in case I want to use, and that's I will do that. Like, I'm a curriculum hoarder, but don't like get lost in the plans of like, we're going to do this unit study and this unit study and then like have your unit studies planned out for the next 4 years, because you're never going to get to them. just focus on right now. Focus on your routine for right now. Focus on your schedule for right now. Focus on the the milestones that you want to hit with your kids right now in this season, because your schedule's going to change, your jobs might change, your living condition might change, your family dynamics might change, your kids emotional state is going to change, what they're into is going to change, everything's going to change. Just focus on this season. Don't worry about anything past this, with the exception of high school, obviously, because you need to have a trajectory of, are you going to college? Are we going to tech school? Are we, some people are like going to like missionary, are we going in the military? Are we going to a trade? Like, what are we doing? Then, working towards that goal. That obviously you want to do. But, right now, especially when they're so young, don't plan out to college yet, okay? It's going to be okay. You're going to make it there. You don't need a plan yet. You're probably never going to see that plan come to life anyway. It's okay. Focus on right now, and you're going to be fine. So, those are 10 things that I wish that I knew when I started homeschooling, or at least I wish someone had said to me. I don't know if I would have listened, but I at least wish I had heard them whenever I started homeschooling. If you are another homeschooling mom that has been at it for a little while and you have something that you wish you would have heard when you started homeschooling, please leave it in the comments down below. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you guys later. Bye!